It's Saturday, 7:45. We've just gotten up. Morning. And look at what's already happened. These little bastards are already outside. Already. I haven't even finished my coffee.
This little one would not leave me alone from 20 to 7 this morning. Ow, meow, 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 meow. In my room. Under bed, off to bed. Under bed, off to bed. Under bed, off to bed. Then on the desk, off the desk. On the desk, off the desk. On the desk, off the desk.
Put me down, Grandma.
Until Glamour went, hands off!
Put me down, Grandma.
And I went, bye!
You helping? You helping Mama, yeah? Yeah. It's helping Mum. So we've just topped up all of our flowers, put a little bit of fertilizer in there, mixed my soil mixture, and we're topping up the rest now. We're taking off the old mulch, so we've had to do this for everything else, so we've got to do it for the berries now. So taking the old mulch off. And that's when we'll put the new soil on top, just top her up and put some new mulch on the top. We just took the top layer of mulch off of the heritage raspberries and we were surprised, to say the least. There are a lot more little starters than we thought there were. You can see them all. There's probably double what we thought there were there. Wow. So we can't let all of these grow. The pot is not big enough at all, so only the strongest will survive, and we'll just keep a couple. So a lot of these are actually going to be pulled out.
And that's why they're a noxious weed.
Yeah, except for the strongest.
What are you up to? Is that right? And then what? What else happened? Kiddo? Were you up to something naughty? Kiddo? You got shit in your tail. What are you doing? You're not supposed to be in here, are you? Oh, is that right? Is that right, Fatty? Hmm? What you doing? Are you hunting lizards? Are the lizards starting to wake up, are they? Nitty. Nitty. Leave the lizards alone. Are you hunting leaves? Did you catch them? What do you want? Yes. You got fluff on you too. Mouth. Mouthman. Hi. Well, this morning we had a front door fail. So the door handle basically fell off. Ta-da! We now have a new fancy door handle. We also this week had an issue with, oh my goodness, look, grey. Woo! You need to do my hair, Mum. We also had an issue with the roller blinds. The roller blinds were getting stuck and heavy and whatever else. So we ended up getting these all replaced. So they had a look at all of this, and that was all fine. It was this here and all the things. So now, one finger up and down. Oh, and we've also had the gas point removed from the floor. Whee! Now we've got a hole in the floor, as you can see. But we're going to just plug that in there for the moment. And we're going to later on today silicone it up, and we've got some of the flooring down the back, so we'll cut a little hole and we'll put a little hole in it and plug it up. So COVID's been like, I don't know, you can see shit around the house that needs to be done, so we do it.
Productive.
Oh, I don't know about productive. Achy, but productive.
We managed to get a fair bit done today. So a fair bit topped up and fertilised and all that stuff, which is really, really cool. So I'll give you a quick look. Alright, so the dwarf fruit trees, the dwarf citrus, we topped those up, put the fertiliser in around the top and then topped them up on that for spring. Same with the berries. So sprinkle of fertiliser, so slow release, just around the outside. Then we topped it up with soil and, well, potting mix, and then mulch on top, watered it in.
Hey, a washing basket. That's clean.
That's clean, Coots. It's not yours. Huh? It's not yours.
It is.
We also topped up the flowers just here, and I've actually cut off one of these stems here to try and propagate it. So
Because that will look unreal cascading down over that pot.
absolutely, especially when it flowers these awesome purple
So
flowers
if we can
there.
get next year growing and cascading, I'll be a happy camper.
So hopefully Google didn't lie to me on how you propagate plants. And then our grape, we topped up the grape too, made sure it had some good compost and fertilizer. Now it's all up high, so hopefully that'll sink down through, and yeah, we'll get some fruit this season from the grape, which should be really, really good. I also still haven't harvested the peas. Bugger. All right, all done. So look at that. That's a big load of peas. See, my hand's only little. There, look at that. And we've left on there, there's still heaps and heaps on there, as you can see, but not quite big enough. Look there. So there's still plenty to go, which I would guess maybe give them 2 or 3 days now that all the big ones are off. And I'm thinking we're gonna have to do this all over again. Those really aren't doing it like well. I dare say this might have copped a real beating.
I'm thinking so.
I'm pretty happy for my first ever time growing Brussels sprouts. But I made it most of the way through. And yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is leave these ones. And I'm really hoping that because we harvested some, took some off, the plant will go into a little bit of shock. So we did break them off, but not shock as in it'll die, shock as in it'll put a lot of its energy into trying to fix it so grow more fruit. So hopefully that will make these ones a lot bigger.
Nice hat.
Thank you. It's not too bad.
You're a dickhead, aren't you?
So here I'm putting together the spice rub that's going to go on the meat beforehand, so it needs to be all dry. So pop all of that one in and mix it together. Didn't give it a rinse, but it is going to be cooked under really high heat for ages, and I know what I put on my garden, which is not anything that's toxic, but I won't tell Mum. Beautiful. There we go. All done. Just give that a bit of a mix and we're going to pop that on the ribs. So what we're doing now is we need to put the spice rub on and we need to let it sit and marinate. So I laid it on pretty thickly because I know Mum and I love this kind of flavour and the different kind of texture that it gives as well, the layers. So we laid it on pretty thick. Time for the sauce. Need just a small pan, water, apple cider vinegar, molasses. It's yeah, it was a bit of a pain. Tomato sauce.
What you doing?
I'm making barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce.
For the ribs.
What's in it?
Everything you see right there. So we've got apple cider vinegar, tomato sauce. We've then got brown sugar, molasses, mustard powder, garlic powder, Worcestershire, salt and pepper, and you're meant to have cayenne pepper in it, but I know I've put a little too much on the ribs. So instead, we're gonna get smoked paprika because smoked paprika belongs in everything. Brown sugar for sweetness. Then we've got the mustard powder, garlic powder, Worcestershire sauce, kind of barbecue without Worcestershire sauce. Season with pepper, and then some smoked paprika. Right, now we have to whisk it all together before we put it on the heat. Doesn't take long at all. Beautiful. Yeah, that just happened. Now that we're all cleaned up and a little less embarrassed, I've put the sauce on just on a medium heat and bring it up to the boil once it's boiling, which it just kind of is. Once it's boiling, you leave it to simmer, mixing occasionally to make sure nothing's sticking for like 40-45 minutes until it's thickened. And then we can put it aside, let it cool. You can use it as barbecue sauce, which I am. There's more than enough there, so I'll use it as normal barbecue sauce, but then I'm going to use it as a baste for our ribs tonight too. Alright, so this one has been simmering away maybe half an hour. You can already see that it's thickening up nicely. I don't actually think it's far off. You don't want it to be a paste. Well, I definitely don't want it to be a paste, but I don't want it to be too runny that it's a drink. So I think that's a really good consistency. It's all done. I've turned it off, left it off for a little bit, and this is what we've got. I'll try not to spill it this time. Gluten-free barbecue sauce and barbecue rib marinade.
And this is the reality of Elisa's cooking. Me cleaning up, me. Oh, hello. More, sorry, missed that.
We preheated the barbecue, tried to get it to sit at roughly 150. So I made sure that the pan was already in the barbecue so it was nice and hot. Alcoholic apple cider in the bottom. Alcohol adds more depth rather than non-alcoholic cider. We then put the ribs in. We need the bony side down, and it's sitting in essentially a bath of the cider. Now we're going to put the lid on. We've got to make sure it's covered so it actually bake. We don't want it to crisp up, and we let it go. So, because I was using a Weber barbecue, I had a bit of trouble keeping the temp really low. It kept going up and raising. I think I fixed that. What I have done here is I've used one of the Weber safe pans, so it is a pan for this barbecue, to chock it open, which has kept the temperature down. After about an hour and a half, we take the lid off, drizzle a little bit of olive oil so it crisps up nicely. basting time. So they've got a nice good crust on it. You can feel it. It feels a little tough. Okay, so we're going to want to flip them over. You want the bony side, oh, there we go, the bony side up when you start your basting. Oh, there we go. And what we want is a really good slather. Get it on there. So after this, after 10 minutes, once I'm done with this, we'll put it in for 10 minutes. After your first baste, where you've basted the bottom or the bony side, you want to flip them over, and for the next 2 to 3 bastings, you want to keep it so the meaty side is up. No dinner is complete without some potatoes and some veg. So we're doing baked potatoes. I just, as you can see, I cut it down so I could stuff it with butter and salt and pepper. Delicious. Then we're going to wrap it in foil so it can bake in the oven or in the barbecue. And we want to do that for each one. Brussels sprouts, topped and tailed, wrapped up with some salt, pepper and butter. And then we've got topped and tailed and the sides taken off of the peas, and they're going to go into that pot of water when it's boiled, and it's just got a little bit of stock in it, some chicken stock in it, and we're going to blanch them really quickly so it just takes that raw crisp out of it, but it's still hot, cooked, and it's got a bit of crispness to it, which is great. This probably has to be my favourite shot. So we've got our baked potatoes, sour cream of course, then we've got our peas and cabbage, mac and cheese, homemade, because I'm obsessed with it at the moment, Brussels sprouts, and, well, the piece de resistance. Truth be known, they didn't last much longer after this photo. Let's go. We come out to double check on the garden because the wind just picked up severely. You can see the greenhouse there, almost gone. The trellis was ripped off the side of the fence, took with it one of the snow peas, and it just got worse while we're outside, especially when the fruit trees started to go over. Not very happy. Holy shit! We had to get all of the potted trees. 2 of them went over, so we had to get them under cover. The potato plants under cover. We had to take all of the flowers, put them under cover. We're out there for a good 10 to 15 minutes, I'd say, and it just got worse. You can see the pots went over there. I definitely picked up all the soil as much as I could. Even had to put a load of bricks in the greenhouse around one of the garden beds to stop it from flying away. The next day we got up to have a look at the damage that was done and found the letterbox had been broken at its base, I guess. Oh. All in all, not as much damage as we thought we'd had, but still not great. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for today. Next episode, stay tuned because we will be making pho ga, Vietnamese noodle soup. We'll also be doing some harvesting. Gonna get a harvest of beetroots. So stay tuned and we'll see you next time. Good night.